There's a moment that happens to almost everyone. You're scrolling, lost, tired of your own life. Then you stumble on that clip. A man on stage, eyes blazing with purpose, voice echoing across a packed room. "You can do anything if you believe," he shouts. The crowd erupts, and for a second you believe it too. The music swells. The words hit your chest and you whisper to yourself, "This time I'll change." But that feeling never lasts, does it? A few hours later, reality returns. Your room looks the same, your job feels the same, your motivation fades like a sugar rush. And yet, you click again. Another speech. Another hit of hope. Another promise that you're one mindset shift away from greatness. That's the trap. Not failure, not laziness. The illusion of progress disguised as motivation. Motivational gurus know this. They've built empires on it. They've learned how to sell belief like a product, and belief, unlike results, doesn't require proof. It only needs to feel true. That's the business model. They don't sell success. They sell the feeling of becoming successful. Every speech, every quote, every rise and grind video is carefully engineered to hook your emotions. They mix urgency with hope, shame with possibility, pain with promise. You get high on the vision of a future you haven't earned yet, and that's exactly what keeps you coming back. Because the more you crave that feeling, the more dependent you become on the next video, the next seminar, the next exclusive mindset course. You're not growing. You're consuming. You're not transforming. You're escaping. The first rule of the motivation business is simple. Look like the person everyone wants to become. The perfect suit. The perfect teeth. The rehearsed confidence. The same phrases delivered with the same rhythm. "I was just like you once," they say, smiling at the camera, pretending to remember what struggle felt like. But here's the truth. Most of them haven't lived the pain they sell you. They've studied it. They've learned the language of struggle, not the experience of it. They tell stories that sound personal but are carefully edited for emotional reaction. Every rock-bottom moment is a setup for the payoff, the redemption arc. It's storytelling psychology, not vulnerability, and the crowd eats it up because we all want to believe someone made it out. They flash photos of private jets, expensive watches, and spontaneous success moments. But behind every image, there's an assistant, a brand deal, a marketing team. The illusion is powerful because it's designed to make you feel like you're behind. You look at them and think, if they did it, why not me? But the truth is, most of them didn't do it the way they say they did. They didn't manifest success with vision boards and morning affirmations. They built it by learning how to sell you the fantasy. They make more money talking about success than actually achieving it. They are not entrepreneurs, they're performers. Every word, every gesture, every breakthrough moment on stage is a script. A formula designed to extract your attention and eventually, your wallet. Because here's the part they don't say. The motivation industry is built on repetition, not transformation. If you truly changed, they'd lose a customer. If you stopped watching, their views would drop. If you stopped needing them, their brand would vanish. So instead, they keep you halfway inspired, just motivated enough to keep watching, but never empowered enough to walk away. That's the trap. You're not the audience, you're the product. It starts innocently. You just want to feel better. You tell yourself, I'll watch something motivational to get in the right mindset. But soon, it becomes a habit. You can't start your day without that rush. The voice telling you, you've got this, the music swelling in the background. The sense that you're part of something bigger. It feels like momentum, but it's not. It's emotional caffeine, powerful, addictive, and temporary. You watch one speech after another, waiting for the spark that will finally push you into action. But here's the quiet truth. Every time you watch another you can do it clip, you're training your brain to mistake inspiration for effort. That tiny dopamine hit convinces you that watching is doing, that feeling motivated is the same as making progress. But it's not. It's the illusion of growth. A perfectly engineered emotional feedback loop, built by people who understand your psychology better than you do. Because when you feel lost, you'll pay anything to feel found. And they know that, so they give you what you crave. A voice that tells you everything will be okay, but not how, never how. The truth doesn't sell, process doesn't go viral, struggle doesn't trend. So they sell you shortcuts, mindset hacks, morning routines, Secrets of Millionaires. It sounds empowering, but it's really a way of keeping you hooked. The same recycled words, wrapped in cinematic editing and dramatic music, designed to make you feel like you're one speech away from greatness. And every time it wears off, you go back for another hit, another clip, another quote, another false sense of purpose. You start believing that motivation is the missing piece. But motivation is never the problem, action is, and that's what they never want you to realize, because if you truly acted on what they said, you'd stop watching them. If you took one lesson seriously and built something real, you'd outgrow their content. They sell you energy, not strategy, emotion, not execution, and they're good at it. They make you feel like you're part of a movement, when really you're part of a market. They call it empowerment, but it's dependency, dressed as inspiration. There comes a time when the hype stops working. You play another video. The words sound powerful, but they don't hit anymore. You've heard it all before. You've repeated the affirmations, you've journaled the goals. You've written down, be grateful for the 100th time. But inside, you're still exhausted. That's the part nobody warns you about, the emotional burnout of chasing motivation itself. Because when you've been living on borrowed energy, when every ounce of your drive comes from someone else's speech and the silence becomes unbearable, you don't know what to do without the music. You don't know how to move when no one's shouting, "Let's go," in your ear. That silence, that's where most people quit, not because they're weak, but because they were never taught how to build real discipline, only how to chase emotional highs. The truth is, constant motivation is not a lifestyle, it's an addiction, to intensity, to validation, to the idea that life should always feel exciting. But real growth doesn't feel exciting. It's slow. It's boring. It's repetition in the dark, where no one is clapping, no one is filming, and no one is watching. The motivational world doesn't show that part. They can't. Because if you saw how long and lonely real progress is, you'd stop buying the illusion. They tell you to dream big, but never how to stay consistent when it's raining, when it's quiet, when you fail again and again with no one watching. They tell you never give up, but they never show you what that actually looks like. The messy middle, the uncertainty, the doubt, the fear that whispers, maybe I'm not enough. And when you finally reach that moment, when you're tired of pretending, tired of trying to stay positive, tired of being told to keep grinding, something shifts. You stop asking, how can I get more motivated? And start asking, what if I stop chasing motivation altogether? That's the awakening. That's the point where the noise starts to fade, and the truth becomes painfully clear. You realize that these gurus don't want you to grow. They want you to depend. They don't want your success, they want your attention. Because attention is the currency. They've built their success by selling you the idea of yours. They tell you that your life can change if you believe, but the only life that actually changes is theirs. They talk about struggle while sitting in mansions built from your clicks. They talk about sacrifice while charging $500 for a course recycled from their last seminar. They post rise and grind while their team edits the video, manages their brand, and handles the hard parts they pretend to do alone. They sell you motivation like it's medicine, but they're the ones who made you sick. And the worst part? You believe them. Because hope feels good, because you want to believe that you're one video away from a breakthrough, but you're not. You're one action away, one decision, one honest look in the mirror. Motivation won't save you. Self-awareness. Well, that's when the real journey begins. Not when you feel unstoppable, but when you stop trying to feel anything at all and start doing what actually matters. That's when unhyped starts to mean something real. After the noise fades, there's a strange quiet. No music swelling behind your thoughts, no voice telling you what to feel, just you. At first it's uncomfortable, almost lonely. You reach for another video out of habit and stop yourself. That pause and that small, fragile moment of silence and is the beginning of truth. Because for the first time, you're not being pulled by someone else's rhythm. You're standing still long enough to hear your own. It's not glamorous. There's no aha moment. It's the slow return to reality. The kind that doesn't ask for applause. You start to see how much of your life was built around chasing energy instead of creating it. Maybe you realize you never needed motivation. You just needed clarity. clarity about what actually matters, what's worth the pain, what's worth waking up for when no one's cheering. That's the paradox. When you stop chasing success, you finally have space to define it. Not the Instagram version, not the stage version, your version, quiet, grounded, real. You begin to replace hype with habits. Not perfect routines, not 5 a.m. miracles, just simple consistency. You show up for small things and writing one paragraph, saving $1, saying no once instead of yes to everything. These moments don't feel motivational. They feel ordinary, but ordinary is where the real change hides. You start to understand that effort isn't supposed to feel electric. Sometimes it feels dull, repetitive, thankless, and that's fine, because the results that last are born in boredom, not excitement. And as you live this way, something subtle happens. You stop craving permission. You stop needing someone to tell you you're on the right path. You just move, imperfectly, quietly, honestly. That's growth. Not the kind that trends, the kind that lasts. Maybe one day you'll look back at those old motivational videos, the roaring crowds, the shiny stages, and feel nothing. Not anger, not shame, just distance, because you'll finally understand. They were never talking to the real you. They were talking to the version of you that didn't believe in themselves yet. But that version is gone now. You don't need their energy anymore, because you've built your own. You don't need their validation, because you've accepted your flaws. You don't need their hope, because you've learned to live with reality and find peace in it. That's what it means to be unhyped, not cynical, not bitter, just free. Free from the performance, free from the noise, free from the idea that you need to feel inspired to move forward. Because you don't. You just need to begin, even if it's messy, even if no one's watching, even if it's just you, quietly, patiently, building a life that doesn't need to be shouted about. That's not the end of motivation. That's the beginning of meaning.